Okay,
So I'm recording and we will get started. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right, good deal. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome today. I appreciate, I've got Phyllis Cronbaugh with me. She's been in real estate a long time. I'll actually though, Phyllis, how about if you just give a little thumbnail sketch of your background? As I understand it, you're not only continuing to practice real estate, but you're a trainer now. Is that right?
Absolutely. I have wanted to do a lot of training with brand new agents for a number of years. I certainly did not want to give up helping buyers and sellers. I love that. Been doing it for 31 years now. I've actually got experience in flipping houses and being a landlord and some of those other things. The only thing I really do now, though, is to actually work with buyers and sellers and then coach brand new agents to help them be successful in a very short time. The name of that
Fantastic.
part of my company is the fast track for you. Get them on the fast track to meeting their goals.
Nice job. Way to go. Way to go. Hey, so I know a lot of folks, you and I were talking just before we got started here. We're just into day one of this citywide, 30-day stay-at-home order. And I know a lot of folks already had contracts out. There was, looking to buy a home, sell a home, that sort of thing. Where do things stand at this point?
Well, real estate has been deemed as an essential business. So we are certainly not going to be one that is closing down at all. It may slow down a little bit as people try to get their footing and see where things are going, but it's not going to be, nothing's going to be closing down. Um, the statistics right now that I got this morning from the multiple listing service said that in the last 3 days, there were 388 new homes that were actually listed. And there's 355 that are sitting there with a status where they will be turned live probably within the next week. So that's actually amazing to me. It doesn't show that anybody's really slowing down at all. My office in Olathe listed 17 in since last Friday, and 4 of them went under contract almost immediately, and that's $4.4 million in volume. And then just like you mentioned, there are a number of houses that are already out there too that are under contract. There's over 6,000 houses in the area that are in a pending status that are just waiting to close, and they will close within the next week to 45 days.
That's interesting. And I've got to admit that surprises me a little bit. Of course, this is your area of expertise, not mine. But yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that. I'm curious. I know a lot of us are doing things online at this point. I mean, you and I are, instead of sitting down across the coffee table someplace in a coffee shop, we're meeting virtually. What role have you seen the internet play in real estate? Has that role increased? How is it being used at this point?
Oh, well, absolutely. I can remember when I was an agent years ago before all of the internet sites came out that I used to go through the sheets, actually sheets, and then I used to find the different houses on MLS. I used to make up a list and then take all of my clients out and show them. And then all of a sudden, here it came. My clients were calling me and telling me, I want to go see this house. They found it on the internet. And I was actually a little bit insulted, like, that's part of my job. And then after a while, I got the idea, I started thinking, well, this is a lot nicer if the house that they have actually chosen to see is one that they don't like, they're not going to hold it against me. They're the ones who actually chose
There
it.
you go. Good
But
call.
we've been working for years, probably about 8 years, trying to go completely with a virtual environment. With Keller Williams, we have a system that will take us beginning to end, from somebody that buys a house, sells a house, buys another house, and all of those transactions could be over a number of years. Nobody actually has to do what we call wet sign or sign a document in person. It can all be done electronically, and we never actually even have to print out a single piece of paper. So
Now let me ask you
all
about
that's in
that if I
place.
can. I'm really curious about this. I was talking with somebody else in another profession a
Mhm.
couple of days ago about that possibility. So in real estate, there's nothing that requires a notary. There's nothing that requires actual in-person. All of this can be handled through electronic signatures. Is that right?
All of the original documents that we sign for the MLS, for the process, all those contracts do not need to have any kind of special sign. I mean, they can all be signed electronically.
Wow.
Now, the mortgage companies do require, I believe, to actually do a closing, which I was going to mention in a little bit. I think there are 4 documents that need to be what they call wet signed. They will not allow those to be electronically signed, but they're looking for solutions and things right now. But all of the rest of the documents that we sign on a regular basis can be signed electronically. Some of the government ones, like the HUD homes, it didn't used to be that they would be allowed to have electronic signing, but in the last few years, even the HUD homes can be signed electronically.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, that's fascinating. What about, to kind of circle back on the internet again, what about virtual tours? I know that's been kind of a hot topic over the last, few years, I guess, but have you seen anybody actually buy a home just based on a virtual tour, or do they still come out and do they require, no, I actually want to walk inside and take a real look at this?
Well, okay. For a good time, I work with a lot of investors, and there are investors that are interested in buying houses in Kansas City, and they may live in California and Arizona. That was a number of them that I used to work with at that time. And with the virtual tours, and sometimes it meant that it wasn't even a professional tour. It meant I was taking my phone and just actually walking through. So investors kind of know what they're looking for. They've got a lot of experience with this, and they actually do it. During those years when the virtual tours were so popular, it seemed like that houses were still selling if they were priced right and if they looked good. They were still selling within a matter of hours or at least a couple of days.
Wow.
And it got so that it didn't seem worth the money to actually do that kind of thing. But of course, that's all changing right now. And there's a lot of people that are looking for the virtual tours. Right now, we can actually go in. There's nothing stopping us. The only thing that I know of right now that has been changed completely is open houses. And the KCRAR governing body here in Kansas City has said that we will not be doing open houses. And that's because of the numbers of people that are going to come through and the groups. But agents can go ahead and make appointments and take individuals through houses at any time, just as normal. Now, as an agent, I'm going to be taking a few precautions.
I was just gonna ask about that in terms of, for the agents, what extra precautions you and the agents are taking, and what about homeowners? Are homeowners? I've got to admit at this point, if I wanted to sell my home, I'd want to make sure folks were being pretty careful, and I'd want to be pretty careful about who I let into my home.
Right. Well, first I'll just say that it's been suggested that we always wear a pair of disposable gloves when we go through the house, and that we open doors for the buyers. If they don't come with a pair of gloves and they want to touch something, they want to open a door, look in a closet, and all of this kind of thing, to ask us, and I'll be glad to go ahead and do that. And of course, get rid of the gloves when I am through. So we're taking those kinds of precautions. Some of the sellers are saying that I do not want to have anybody come to my house. I want to list my house, and that's jumps back to the virtual tours. There are going to be lots of virtual tours that are going to be recorded and put out onto the MLS system, so that buyers can actually get a better look at what a house is all about, over and above just the normal 25 to 30 pictures that are in there.
Sure. Hey, so this brings up a question I thought of the other day. If someone does that, if a seller wants to sell their home, but they don't want folks in, is there such a thing as I'm not sure what the right phrase is, but a contingency contract of some sort where buyer and seller agree, here's the price, we're going to close at X date, 6 weeks down the road, whatever that is, but the caveat being that the buyer at that point, once things settle down, gets an actual physical look before they are tied into that contract. Is there any such thing?
Well, absolutely. It's not quite like that as far as a contingency is concerned. Contingency usually means something else. But I would imagine that, if for somebody like, if houses, like I said, if houses are priced right and look good, that first day there could be 30, 40 different people or more come through that house. We're used to getting highest and best offers with, there was one I heard about just last week, there was 16 offers.
Wow.
One of the folks that I coach had a client that put in an offer for 329,000 cash on a house that was listed for 319
Wow.
and did not get it. Okay. So, and that was less than 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So there, as far as the virtual tours going through, I see that as the eliminating all of those people that are going through. And when somebody sees the house and said, yeah, I am ready to put an offer in, I would imagine, yes, the seller would allow them to go ahead and come through. I mean, they would need to, but what
Yes.
it's going to do is eliminate the dozens and dozens of people that
Exactly.
just want
Yeah,
to come through.
that sure seems to make sense to me in this current environment. So
Right.
it sounds like what you're saying is that with some reasonable precautions, with taking some additional steps towards safety, considerations for others, that it's still kind of, people are out buying, selling homes, and it's still a pretty good time to do so. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't look like things are going to slow down. It surprises me too, Tim.
Yes.
Absolutely. But all of the different individuals that we need to get together to make these things happen, they're all putting procedures in place. Lenders have been working from home. They have been doing pre-approvals for their buyers for many, many years sometimes without actually seeing them. It's always what I've always told my buyers: go in and make sure that you sit down in front of your lender and you get to know each other, make sure you like each other. That may not be the way it's going to be, but all the buyers have to do is to submit, scan and then submit through email all of their documents to the lender, and then the lender takes it from there, runs it through underwriting. If there's an approval, they write the letter and it comes back to the buyer by email again, and we are ready to go out there and to make those offers. I talked also to an inspector that I've worked with for years and asked him what was happening with him this week. And he said he's got inspections all week long. Things haven't really changed a lot. But he is going to make some changes in the way that he does the business. Normally, a homeowner and their agent are not present at the time that we do an inspection. Only the buyer and the buyer's agent and then the inspector are usually there. What Doug is actually asking is that the buyer's agent get there, let them into the house, let them go on and do their job, have the buyer's agent maybe go out and sit in the car or wait somewhere for the whole process so that everybody's not there together. Now, if the buyers absolutely say that they want to come through the house and talk to him at that time, they can do it maybe the last 15 minutes. But what he would really rather have them do is to wait till maybe that evening or the next morning, and he will do a Zoom call with them and go through the 40 to 50 page inspection report. There's all kinds of pictures. They can basically see everything that he has done. And then again, that just makes it safer for everybody.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Hey, we're about out of our allotted time here for today. I really appreciate you doing this. Any other last bits of information you'd like to share with folks, either on the home buyer or home seller side?
Well, I mean, I would just say that if you had planned to buy or sell this spring or this summer, then there's not a whole lot that's going to be stopping you. If you still want to do it, go out there and do it. Interest rates are way low. You know, we were down to a couple of weeks ago, we actually hit the 15-year fixed. If you had the right credit, 15-year fixed, you could get an interest rate at 2.65.
Yeah,
now that's absolutely unheardable. Yeah. That is incredible. Yeah. I was selling real estate when the loans were 15, 16% and everything else. So
yes, I don't want to remember those days, but I do remember those days. Yes.
Right. So with interest rates low and with the precautions that we are taking and meeting all of the challenges that are coming up, I say if that's what you're interested in doing, go out there and do it.
Fantastic. Phyllis, thank you again. I really appreciate you being here. I'll put your contact information up so if folks have some other questions for you, they can reach out to you.
Tim, it's always good to talk to you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.